بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأتم الحج والعمرة لله صدق الله العظيم. So, brothers and sisters, we are now moving on to the Hajj. There's a few questions, very, very pertinent questions that people ask me during the break. And if I remember them, I'll try and mention them. One is about touching the Kaaba. Now, when you touch the Kaaba has perfume on it. It's perfume. So, it's not recommended that you should touch the Kaaba during the tawaf. Okay, during the tawaf, it's not recommended. Even the Hajar al-Aswad as well is perfume. Secondly, as I mentioned, you need to have wudu for tawaf. Somebody asked, do you need wudu for Safa Marwa? No, you don't. It's not necessary. So Safa Marwa, you do not need wudu. So if your wudu breaks after tawaf and you have to do Safa Marwa without wudu, totally fine. No problem. Okay? Safa Marwa, you do not need to have wudu. As I mentioned, you can cut your own hair or somebody else can cut your hair. No problem. So both are fine. Now we're going to go on to Hajj. I'm going to skip some of the slides so that we finish on time. We've got about an hour left. And I know you're all tired. But I can guarantee you, or you must be at least able to acknowledge that I am more tired than you are. I'm standing. Yeah, and I've been standing for 3 hours now. Okay? So please, bear with me. So you got the definition of Hajj. And you know, we're trying to get a Hajj which is no sin. That's the whole point of Hajj. That I don't have any sin. Right? So whilst you are out in Hajj, there are lots of difficulties that might come. There are lots of agitations that you might have from individuals that you might be with. That's where you need patience. Yeah, that's where you need patience. So try and be as careful as possible in the Hajj. And remember, when you read Salah in Al-Masjid al-Haram, it is mentioned that the reward is 100,000 times more for a Salah. 100,000 times more reward for a Salah in Masjid al-Haram. Yeah? So, wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases the reward because of a place and a time, then we must also remember that Allah increases the sin as well. If I swear outside, not that I swear, okay, I don't. Okay? But if I do swear outside, then I will get sin. I will be sinful. But if I swear in the masjid, it'll be greater sin. And then if I swear in Masjid al-Haram, then it's greater sin. If I swear in Makkah, it's a greater sin. So all of these places are sanctified, and we need to make sure that we are careful and we do not violate any of the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whilst we are in Makkah Mukarramah, Medina Munawwara, Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah, all of the holy places, we make sure that we treat them with sanctity. Okay, with sanctity. And we are trying to achieve the reward that if, when we come back with Hajj Mabrur. That is an accepted Hajj. And a person who comes back with Hajj Mabrur, لَيْسَ لَهُ جَزَاءٌ إِلَّا الْجَنَّةِ, their reward is nothing except for Jannah. Yeah? So we hope that we are able to achieve that reward. So these are all slides which are not necessary now. Who must do Hajj? Everybody's going for Hajj, so I don't need to tell you who must do Hajj. You're all going for Hajj. Yeah. So, sometimes people say to me, Maulana Sahib, I'm not ready for Hajj. Yeah, I'm not ready for Hajj. It's not a choice. Once you're Muslim and you have enough wealth and you are healthy enough to perform the Hajj, it's not a choice anymore that you're ready or not ready. But Maulana Sahib, when I come back, then I'll have to wear the hijab. Then I'll have to start performing salah again. Wait, that's a separate action. Yeah? Somebody who misses Hajj and somebody who doesn't wear hijab, you get sin for this and you get sin for this. Go and get one done and then worry about the next one afterwards. Somebody who doesn't perform salah, somebody who doesn't wear hijab, somebody who doesn't perform Hajj. A person doesn't perform salah is a sin. Person doesn't wear the hijab is a sin. Person who doesn't perform Hajj is a sin. Get at least one of them done. And then sometimes what happens is that because you've seen the Kaaba and you felt the love of Allah, you come back and then you start wearing the hijab automatically. And then you start performing salah automatically. And if you don't worry about it. Yes, it's a sin. Yes, you need to do it. But inshallah, Allah will give you tawfiq. That's a separate sin. But go and perform the Hajj. Go and feel what other people feel. Go and experience what other people experience. So don't delay or say, I'm not ready for Hajj. So the different types of Hajj which we mentioned. Qiran, Tamattu, Ifrad. So Qarana means to join. Because you're joining Umrah and Hajj in one ihram, that is why it's called Qiran. The other question which somebody asked me is that, for example, you're doing Qiran. For example, you're doing Qiran. Does that mean that the ihram that you're wearing, the men especially, the cloth, the two white cloth, can you change those cloths or not? You sure? You can? Or you can't? Wajid? You can't? But ihram is intention, it's not the cloth. How many times do I have to tell you? Come and see me afterwards. He's got my number, he's in my group. I'm dreading it. Terrible. No, so you can change your cloth. Because ihram is intention. Your intention does not break between your umrah and your hajj. Okay? So you don't cut your hair, but you can change your cloth. You can change into a different set of ihram. Sisters can change their clothes, it's fine. Tamattu is when you do umrah and then you cut your hair, you're out of ihram, you're back in your normal clothes, you wear perfume, everything. And then when the days of hajj come, then you make a new intention for hajj and you get back in your ihram state. And Hajj Ifrad is if a person is coming from Medina Munawwara or they're coming from UK and they don't make intention for Umrah at all. They only make intention for Hajj. That's Hajj Ifrad, no Umrah. Now the person who makes intention for Hajj Ifrad and Hajj Qiran, if they come to Makkah Mukarramah on the 2nd of Zulhijjah, how many days will they be in the state of Ihram? Both the Hajj Ifrad and the Hajj Qiran will be in the same state of Ihram, the same days. The only difference will be that this person will perform Umrah and this person will not. Why? Because the Hajj Ifrad person has to stay in Ihram. He can't wear the Ihram on the days of Hajj. It's when he passes the Miqat, he has to be in the state of Ihram and he'll stay in the state of Ihram until the Hajj finishes. Same with the Qiran person, that he'll do when you passing the Miqat, you will make the intention for Ihram and then you will stay in the state of Ihram until Hajj finishes. The only person who will be able to get out of Ihram for a little while is the person who does Hajj Tamattu. Is that understood? Clear? So even the Hajj Ifrad person will be in the same days as the Hajj Qiran in the state of Ihram. But he will do only Hajj and this person will do Umrah and Hajj. And the person in the middle will do Umrah and Hajj but with a break in between. For the person who's doing Qiran and the person who's doing Tamattu, there's an animal sacrifice which is compulsory. It's called Hadi. Now, We call it qurbani normally. But the technical term for an animal that is sacrificed during Hajj is called hadi. Ha, dal, ya, hadi. And a person who is performing Hajj Tamattu and Hajj Qiran, it is compulsory for them to sacrifice a hadi. Okay. Now, many of us, when we are at home, we do qurbani. Qurbani. Do we do qurbani, not the hadi? Do we also have to do qurbani separately or not if we're going for Hajj? No. If you're going for Hajj, you will not be doing qurbani, you will be doing hadi for your Hajj. When you do qurbani at home, from the 1st of Zulhijjah, you stop cutting your nails and you stop cutting your hair. Is that correct? Will a Haji do the same? No. Haji will cut his hair, cut his nails, because that's for the person who's at home doing qurbani. The person who's doing Hajj, they will have to cut their nails, they will have to cut their hair for Umrah, they will have to cut their hair for Hajj, they will have to cut their nails for getting into Ihram again, if they're doing Hajj Tamattu. So that rule does not apply for the Haji. Okay? So you can cut your nails, you can cut your hair, that is for the people who are doing qurbani. You are only killing a hadi, not a qurbani. Although that terminology does get swapped around, synonym is used, qurbani. Have you got your qurbani for Hajj or hadi for Hajj? It's the same thing. Okay? How many days is Hajj? 5 days. 5 days of Hajj. 8th of Zulhijjah, 9th of Zulhijjah, 10th of Zulhijjah, 11th of Zulhijjah, 12th of Zulhijjah. 5 days of Hajj. Yeah? 5 days of Hajj. 8th of Zulhijjah, enter into the Ihram in the morning. Okay, now this year we are looking at 14th of June, I think it is, which might be the 8th of Zulhijjah, which will be a Friday. 14th of June, Friday, will be the first day of Hajj, 8th of Zulhijjah. 9th of Zulhijjah, Saturday. 10th of Zulhijjah, Sunday, 16th. 11th of Zulhijjah, Monday, 4th day of Hajj. And 12th of Zulhijjah, Tuesday, 5th day of Hajj. And then an optional extra day, the 6th day, which is optional, which is the Wednesday. Okay. Now, what normally happens is that people get ready to go to Mina the night before. Now, the Prophet ﷺ left after sunrise on the 8th of Zulhijjah. But because we are under groups and we have transportation issues, and because they have to move 2 million people to one place, they start moving them the night before after 10 o'clock. So you will be told on the 7th of Zulhijjah, which will be the Thursday night, be ready, your coach will come at 11 o'clock, or your coach will come at 1 o'clock, or your coach will come at 3 o'clock. Get ready with your ihram on, and you'll be ready when the coach arrives. Okay? How do you prepare for your ihram if you're not in ihram? So if you're not Hajj Ifrad and if you're not Hajj Qiran, these two will already be in ihram. Hajj Tamattu, you've taken off your ihram after Umrah, now you have to wear your ihram again. But donning the ihram cloth is not enough, you have to make the intention. Where do you make the intention for Hajj? Wherever you are in Makkah. Aziziyah. Wherever you don't go to Masjid Aisha, you don't go to Masjid Haram, you don't go anywhere. You make your intention wherever you are once you are ready to make your intention. So you will do exactly the same things that you did for your first ihram. Cut your nails, clean yourself properly, have a bath, then wear your ihram cloth, pray 2 rakats salah, nafal, and then make dua, and then you enter into ihram, that, oh Allah, I am entering into ihram and I am making the intention of ihram for Hajj. Accept it from me and make it easy for me. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wan ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. Understood? Do we go Masjid Aisha? Do we go to Masjid Haram? Where do you make the intention? Wherever you are, whichever hotel you are. Okay? And you take your ghusl and your bath there, and then you are ready with your ihram intention. Okay? Remember, you can't cover your face. Sometimes what happens is they will tell you, you rest for a little while and we'll call you when the coach comes. So you go to sleep, and sometimes some people have a habit of putting all the duvet on their head. Yeah? You don't want any noise. You're not supposed to cover your face, even when you're sleeping. You can cover your feet, but you can't cover. So normally when we're walking in the sandals, you can't cover that bone. But when you're sleeping, you can cover your feet with that duvet or your sleeping bag or your blanket. It's fine. Understood? Right. So we'll enter into ihram in the evening of the 7th, Thursday evening. We'll wait for the coach to come. When the coach comes, then you'll be taken to Mina. You'll be taken to Mina. So Mina, you've got camps. The purpose-built camps, they've been there for many, many years. You will be given space to say, this is a women's area, this is a men's area, and then you will have a sofa bed where you will be able to rest. It's comfortable, but it's not home. The toilets on the first day are very nice. On the second day, then third day, and then that's up to you. It's how you treat those toilets. Yeah? But no, as Dr. Imran said, they're much better than they were. And even the queues sometimes are much more during Salah time, obviously. But if you time it well, then you can go at a time when it's not busy, and it's fine. And they've got showers in there as well, in 2 or 3 of them. So it is what it is. We're not there on holiday. We're not there to enjoy ourselves in a way where we have to be thinking that it's not 5-star, etc. No, it's Mina, yeah, and you have to be prepared for Mina, right? And then once we get there, then because normally Prophet ﷺ would have reached there before Zohar on the 8th, but because we go there at night, we'll read Fajr there, we'll read Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha of that day, and the Fajr of the next day in Mina. That's all you have to do. There is no rituals to do on that day. So therefore, remember what I said about targets and objectives. If you have your Quran and all of those targets, you will be able to do lots of Quran on that day, on the 8th of Zulhijjah. Lots of Quran. 5, 6, 7, 8 siparas easily on that day. Yeah? And then you read your Salah. Now, because most probably, majority of us will be musafir. We will be travelers. Because we will be less than 15 days in one place every time we keep on moving. Right? Therefore, we will be reading 2 rakats Zohar and 2 rakats Asr. It depends who the Imam is, but 2 rakats Zohar, 2 rakats Asr, 2 rakats Isha, 3 rakats, 1.5 Maghrib. See, I'm just testing. 1 rakat Fajr. I'm just testing you, eh? Yeah. So 2 rakats Fajr, 2 rakats Zohar, 2 rakats Asr, 3 rakats Maghrib, and 2 rakats Isha, and the 3 witr of Isha as well. Okay? Once the 8th of Zulhijjah is finished, the next day, 9th of Zulhijjah, after Fajr, they will tell us that the coaches are coming at this time to go to Arafat, the most important day of your lives, yeah? Where du'as are accepted. by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala between Zawal and Maghrib. Yeah? So again, go and do wuzu or prepare yourself. There's wuzu facilities there in Arafat as well. And you will get there depending on, there'll be queues. Be patient. The sun will be beating down and you'll be in queues. You need your umbrellas there. Now, what do we take to Mina? What do we take to Mina? So you are going to stay in Mina for about 3 days maximum without going back to your place where you are resident, whether it's Makkah or whether it's Aziziyah. 8th, 9th, 10th, you will visit your place of residence on the 10th again. So what you need to do is you take one bag of an extra ihram, just in case your ihram is soiled, extra pair of clothes, hijab, any medicine that you need, snacks, sleeping bag if it's not provided, those kind of things. It's only 2 nights, 3 nights that you're going to be needing a bag for. Okay, toiletries, yeah, all of those things, that's it. Everything else you leave in your building where you're staying. Your suitcase you don't need. Yeah? It's only 2-3 nights you're going to be there. And again, this will be repeated when you're just before you're leaving for Mina. People will tell you this is all you need. Okay, you won't need more than this. And then, even in Mina, that sofa bed will remain yours for the next few days. So from when you're leaving Mina for 1 day, you'll be going to Arafat, you'll be going to Muzdalifah, and you'll be coming to Mina after 24 hours. So you leave your bag there, and you'll take a smaller bag with you to Arafat and Muzdalifah, including your sleeping bag. And then you'll come back to this Mina place. So you'll have one bag, and then one smaller bag that you might need for Arafat and Muzdalifah. Arafat, you need your dua book, what du'as you're going to read. A lot of people will tell you, make dua for me in Arafat. Start writing their names on your phone or on your in a small book, so that when you're there, you remember them. Yeah. Honestly, when you send a message to somebody that I remembered you in Arafat, I'm telling you, you don't need to buy them a musalla. You don't need to buy them a scarf. Yeah. You can be conjuice and stingy. Yeah? And you can say, I made dua for you. Huh? So, write the list down. The coaches will come from Fajr all the way till Zohar, and most probably everyone will be in Arafat by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. You will be shown your tent. You go into your tent. Men will be separate. Women will be separate. There's no sofa beds there because you're only there from about 11 o'clock to 7 o'clock for about 8 hours, 9 hours. There'll be a carpeted space there. You put your bedding there, and then you wait for Zohar time. There's a khutbah that might be going on in Masjid al-Nimra. Now, Masjid al-Nimra is a place where the Prophet ﷺ gave his khutbah. And then after the sermon, he joined Zohar and Asr Salah during Zohar time. 2 rakats. And according to the Hanafi school of thought, if you're behind that Imam, then you join Zohar and Asr together. But if you're not behind that Imam and you're praying in your own tent, then according to Imam Abu Hanifa, you read Zohar at Zohar time and Asr at Asr time. According to his students, Imam Muhammad and Imam Abu Yusuf, they say no, you can still do combined. You can do Zohar and Asr together. According to Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad, they do Zohar and Asr together. So according to the majority, they do Zohar and Asr together at Zohar time. Some people will follow Imam Abu Hanifa and they'll do Zohar, Asr separately, Zohar at Zohar time, Asr at Asr time. Both are correct. No need. If there's a last place to argue about this, it's in the day of Arafat, in the place of Arafat. You do whatever you want to do. No problem. Allah will accept. Because both opinions are correct. Okay? Then from the time Zuhr Azan is done and you've read your Zuhr till Maghrib is the time for dua. But obviously we're not made with that strength to make dua all that 6 hours, 7 hours. Prophet ﷺ did that for us. And he remembered you and I in the du'as. But we can't do that. So sometimes you'll be making dua, then you'll take a rest and read some tasbih. If you feel that you're so tired, you can rest for 15, 20 minutes, have a power nap, and then wake up again, and then carry on. The last thing to do is gossip, talk, waste time. That's not the place to waste time. Yeah? And that's why I avoid sitting next to people I know in Arafat. I sit next to strangers, which for me is very difficult, because usually people know me. And they say, Maulvi Sahib, what's this? Maulvi Sahib, what's that? I try to avoid it. So try and stick to yourself and make your targets for what you want to read in Arafat and concentrate on that. The Imam might make a joint dua, try and join that as well. Make your own du'as. There's dua books out there that you can use for du'as as well. Then, once Maghrib time is coming closer, you will realize that the coaches will start to come. The coaches will start to come. And you'll be told that the coaches are going to leave for Muzdalifah. This group get ready, this group get ready, this group get ready, etc., etc. So if you are told to get ready, then you need to get ready. But until the time for Maghrib, you keep busy. Even if you're in the queue, you keep busy in dua. Even if they brought you quickly to the queue, you keep busy in dua. Okay? Once the sun has set, there is no Maghrib Salah here in Arafah. No Maghrib Salah. Maghrib will be done in Muzdalifah at Isha time. Isha time, Maghrib and Isha together. Okay? 3 rakats Maghrib, 2 rakats Isha, 3 rakat Witr. And they'll be done in Muzdalifah. So the coaches will take you to Muzdalifah. Few tips. Try and do your wudu here in Arafah before you leave. It will make it easy for you over there. Take some bottles of water with you to Muzdalifah. They will come in handy. Take some snacks with you, which you will be given, but just in case, you'll need some snacks in Muzdalifah. Labbaik for the Haji remains until they pelt on the 10th of Zulhijjah. So 8th of Zulhijjah, lots of Labbaik. 9th of Zulhijjah, lots of Labbaik. 10th of Zulhijjah in the morning until you pelt, Labbaik. Once you've pelted, then there's no more Labbaik for the Haji. So in Umrah, when do you stop your Labbaik? Hajar-e-Aswad, Tawaf. In Hajj, when do you stop your Labbaik? First pelt. First pelt. Okay. Then, once you get to Muzdalifah, Muzdalifah is an open area. And the number that you are given in Mina, that's where you'll be taken in Arafat, and that's where you'll be taken in Muzdalifah. So if you're number 37 in Mina, you'll be taken to 37 in Arafat, and you'll be taken 37 in Muzdalifah. That area. Now, if you get there early, you'll find space to at least get a little bit of sleep. If you get there late, like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, then you might not find a place to sleep. All you have to do is find a place to perform salah, and then sit and wait, maybe knock off sitting down, like this, and then after an hour, ready to move. Yeah? Lots of coaches going past, lots of fumes. It's open area, quite dusty. It happens. Okay? So if you get there early, you'll be lucky to find some space. There are toilets there, there's wuzu area there, lots of queues there, just depends. There's not much food there, that's why you need to take snacks. Right? And Muzdalifah, you stay there, you read your Maghrib and Isha at Isha time, and then after Isha, you will collect stones. Sorry, pebbles. You might get ideas when I say stones. You know, Molly said, my shaitan is big. Look at this one. Is this the right one? No, because your shaitan is big, you need a bigger one. No, it's pebbles. Pebbles. Yeah? It doesn't matter on the size of your shaitan. Don't worry. A pebble is enough. Okay? So, you collect how many pebbles? 49 is the minimum. Why? Because on the 10th of Zulhijjah, the next day, you will need 7, because you're only pelting 1. On the 11th, you need 21, because you're pelting all 3. On the 12th, you are pelting all 3. So 21, 21, 42 plus 7, 49. And then if you're going to stay an extra day, then you get another 21. Which makes it how many? It's 70, isn't it? Is it 70? Okay. So anyway, that's if you need more. You collect your pebbles in and around Muzdalifah. It's not faraz, it's not wajib to collect from there, but it's easier to collect from there. Okay? You don't need to wash them. Some people think that you have to wash them. You don't need to wash them. Okay? Pebbles means this size, small stones. Okay? Once you've collected them, you should have bags or bottles in which you will put the pebbles. Okay? Lots of empty bottles, sometimes people use that, or small bags, people use that. Then you wait, some people might read tahajjud, some people might try and get some sleep if they can, and then you have to leave Muzdalifah. You will read Fajr there. You read Fajr in Muzdalifah. And then after Fajr is a dua time. From the time of Fajr till sunrise, just before sunrise, is a time for dua. Okay? And to be in Muzdalifah, to make dua, according to the Hanafi school of thought, is wajib. It's wajib. Okay, so you need to make dua there. Now, some people, the coaches again, will start leaving just before Fajr. And your group might say, queue up, keep busy in dhikr, keep busy in dhikr, keep busy in labbaik. If you need to get on the coach, you get on the coach. They will take you to your Mina camp, where you came from the day before. And your Mina camp is not too far from the Muzdalifah border. So if you want to read your Fajr, just say they've taken you before Fajr. If you want to read your Fajr in Muzdalifah, you can walk it to the border, which is around 15 minutes walk from where you are. Walk it back to the Muzdalifah border, just find a space, read your Fajr there, sit there, do a bit of zikr, do a bit of dua, and that's your Fajr and dua done in Muzdalifah. Then you go back to your Mina camp. This is now the 10th of Zulhijjah, Sunday. Sunday morning, you've read your Fajr in Muzdalifah. You've come back to the Mina camp. The first thing that we have to do on this Sunday is to pelt the big jamarat. The big jamarat, 7 stones. Now, according to your group will tell you what time you're going to leave. Some leave straight away. 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's go before the sun gets too hot. Right? So people leave in the morning. Some people will say, no, we're going to leave later on. I need some rest. Depending on your group, that's what will happen. It's a 45-minute to a 1-hour walk from where we are to the Jamarat. 45-minute to 1-hour walk to Jamarat. You're still in your ihram. You woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's if you got some sleep. Okay? And you're walking now at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning to the Jamarat. When you get to the Jamarat, there will be signs to where you're supposed to go. The first one is the small Jamarat. The second one is the middle Jamarat. The last one is the big Jamarat. Okay? So, are you going to pelt the first one? No. Are you going to pelt the second one? No. Are you going to pelt the last one? Yes. Okay. Also, when you come to the pillars, there's a choice that you go. So if I'm going to this pillar, I can go from this side, I can go from that side. try and be on that side. So you try and stay on the left. Try and stay on the left, and you miss the first one, miss the second one, and you hit the third one, so that your right shoulder will be facing Mina and your left shoulder will be facing Makkah. Your right shoulder will be facing Mina and your left shoulder will be facing Makkah. So if you go this side, that is a sunnah. Prophet ﷺ did it that way. But if you go this side, it still doesn't matter. It's not haram. It's not makruh. It's just better to do it from this side. Okay? So when you're coming up towards the Jamarat, try and stay on the left, go around the left, past the first pillar, past the second pillar, third pillar, Jamarat on the right, Mina on the right-hand side, and Makkah on the left-hand side, and you pelt with your right hand. And now, let me see if there's any pictures here. So I've mentioned all of this whilst I haven't been looking at the slides because you're taking my exam. If I've said anything wrong, you let me know. Okay, so that's where we are, throwing 7 pebbles at the big Jamarat. And then you have to do this in order. Sacrifice the animal and then shave or cut the hair. Okay, how we do the pebbles is, if this is the pillar, so there's a big pillar there, big pillar, and we've come from the left-hand side, so we've come round. If you go to this corner, the first part of the Jamarat, it will be very, very populated, lots of people. If you go round and keep walking, and then coming from here, there's very less people on this left corner. And you'll be able to do it right from the wall, very easily, without any congestion. So the tip is to keep on walking round, keep on walking, go past the Jamarat, and then walk in near the end, and then do the pelting. It'll make it much more easier. Okay? That's one of the tips that we've learned whilst we are doing Hajj. Then the next thing is to sacrifice the animal, the hadi. Now, usually what happens is that your sacrifice has been given to an agent, most probably from your group. That is the best, that you know somebody from your group who has taken responsibility for your hadi. Then you will text them that I've done my stoning, let me know when the sacrifice is done. Until then, you do not cut your hair. You do not cut your hair. According to the Hanafi school of thought, the tartib and the order to do this is wajib. The order to do this is wajib. You have to do it in this order. According to other schools of thought, you can do the cutting of the hair first and then the sacrifice, it's fine. But the sunnah is to do it this way. But according to the Imam Abu Hanifa, it's wajib to do it this way. It's wajib to do it this way. Now, after you've done the pelting, where do you go? Where do you go? Now, it's sunnah to spend the night in Mina. That night. So you will have finished your pelting by 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning. And you're going to spend this night in Mina. But you've got a choice of what to do now. One choice is to go back to Mina camp. Stay in your ihram, go back to Mina camp, wait for your sacrifice to be done. Once you get the message that the sacrifice is done, you cut your hair in Mina camp, you change your clothes, have a shower there, and you stay there that night. That's choice number 1. Understood? You've pelted the third Jamarat. Only 7 stones. Choice number 1 is to go back to Mina camp. So you'll walk again back all the way, 50 minutes, 1 hour, and you'll stay in your camp. There you'll get a rest all day. Yeah? And once your message comes through, you can cut your hair there, and you can have your shower there, change your clothes, and stay there all night. That's choice number 1. Choice number 2, you can go to Makkah and go and do your Hajj tawaf. It's called Tawaf-e-Ifada, Hajj tawaf, different names. Okay? So you can do your Tawaf-e-Ziyara, Tawaf-e-Ifada, Tawaf-e-Hajj, all these different names. You can go and do your Hajj tawaf. How will that happen? you will walk all the way to Makkah, unless you are able to find transport and then sit in traffic for 2-3 hours. Just depends. Sometimes you might be able to find a bus that gets you there quickly because it's a special bus which has been provided by the government. So then you will walk all the way to Makkah, do your tawaf. Just like you did your Umrah tawaf, you will do your Hajj tawaf. Everything is the same. You start the same, you kiss the same, you finish the same, you pray the 2 rakats the same, and then you can do your Hajj Sa'i. Go to Safa, Marwa, do your 7 rounds, and then by that time, now because you are still in Ihram, because your sacrifice has not been done, you will be doing this in your Ihram cloth. Okay? Because you're still waiting for news about your sacrifice. So choice number 1 was go back to Mina. Choice number 2, go to Makkah, do your tawaf and sa'i of Hajj. Do you cut your hair after sa'i? When do you cut your hair in Hajj? After sacrifice, after hadi. So don't make the mistake of cutting hair after sa'i. Then you will hopefully have received a message by the time you finish your sa'i that your sacrifice has been done. If your sacrifice has been done, then you can cut your hair. Now that you've cut your hair, now you can have a shower and change your clothes. You can then go to your hotel and go and get fresh, have a rest, and then try and get back to Mina for that night. It's sunnah to spend the night in Mina. It's wajib according to Imam Shafi, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal to spend the night in Mina. And sunnah, emphasize sunnah according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi. Okay? According to Imam Shafi, it's obligatory. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, obligatory. According to Imam Abu Hanifa, it's sunnah. Yeah? It depends whichever schools you follow. We'll talk after, inshallah. So whichever school you follow, we emphasize that you should try and get back to Mina. That's what we do. You should not, without any valid excuse, miss spending the night in Mina on the 11th and the 12th of Zulhijjah. Okay? The 10th night and the 11th night of Zulhijjah. So those who went back to Mina, they will have received the message of their sacrifice. They did the shower and cutting of the hair in Mina, and then they are still in Mina. Those who went to do tawaf, they did tawaf, sa'i in the ihram clothing, then they got the message for their sacrifice, they've cut their hair, they've gone to the hotel, got fresh, and then gone back to Mina. They will not get back to Mina until 2 or 3 a.m. Warning. Because of the traffic, because of the congestion, because of your tiredness. Yeah, you've walked from Muzdalifah, you've got to Mina. From Mina, you've walked to Jamarat. From Jamarat, you've walked to Makkah. From Makkah, you've done the tawaf, walking. You've done the sa'i, walking. And then you've walked back to your hotel. Very, very difficult. You will not have walked that much in your life before, in that heat, ever. It's the hardest day. Everyone will be enjoying Eid here, and your Eid will be done there. They will be eating animals, and you become the animal. Yeah, that's what it is. So, and the third choice, let me give you a third choice. So I've given you 2 choices. Go back to Mina. Right? Or just on that point of going back to Mina, when you go back to Mina, you have to follow the signs correctly. Because the Jamarat has to be on your right-hand side, and you have to be walking on the left-hand side if you're going to the European camps. It says Al-Mu'aysim. It says Al-Mu'aysim. Yeah? Al-Mu'aysim and slaughterhouses, if you go towards there, then you will be going the right way. But if you turn back from after doing Jamarat and you go down and you go left-hand side, so that Jamarat is on your left-hand side, not your right-hand side. You will then go around the world in Indian camps and South African camps and Africa camps and in Malaysia, and you see everybody of the world except European. Yeah? Last year we had somebody who got lost. Right? And they're trying to phone me. They were behind me, they were with me. When we did the stoning, they were with me. But then they didn't tell me that they were going back to Mina. They didn't tell me they decided to turn back themselves. They went left. They went left and they ended up in Malaysian camps, Indonesian camps, South African camps. The person collapsed. He was ill. He collapsed. They're trying to ring me, but I was collapsed on my bed. I was also tired. So I didn't see the phone calls until later on. So eventually we were able to get them back, but they were absolutely shattered. And then that spoils the rest of the Hajj days, because now they're ill, they can't do the 11th properly, they can't do the 12th properly. So you have to be very, very careful. If you don't know, ask. Ask the right people as well. Don't only ask the policemen, they don't know as well. Yeah. So Al-Mu'aysim, slaughterhouses, follow that and you will get to your Mina camp. Okay. So that's your first choice if you're doing. Second choice, I mentioned. Third choice is that you go to your hotel directly. You don't go to do tawaf, you don't go to Mina, you go to your hotel. And you rest. So you get to your hotel about 12 o'clock and you rest, and then you get a message that your sacrifice has been done. Then you go and cut your hair first, and then you have a bath. Don't do it the other way around. That you see the message and you get so happy, oh, my sacrifice has been done, and then you forget to cut your hair and you jump into the shower. Because you really want to jump into that shower, trust me. You've been in ihram for 3 days. Yeah? And other people also want you to jump into the shower. In fact, they'll give you a shower gel as well. This is on me. They say, this is on me. So, that's a third choice. Once the message comes through, cut your hair, have your shower, then get into your normal clothes. Then you decide, do I want to go and do my tawaf now? Or do I want to go back to Mina and I do the tawaf the next day? Tawaf of Hajj can be done on that 10th, 11th, and 12th until Maghrib. 12th until Maghrib. According to the Hanafi school of thought, until Maghrib. Okay? So you got all of 10th, all of 11th, and 12th until Maghrib. Eventually, either first choice, second choice, third choice, people will be in Mina on that night. You should be praying Fajr together again as your group in your camp. Some of us, we decide that we'll go after Fajr to go and do the tawaf because we haven't done it on the first day. Now, because we done our sacrifice, we cut our hair and we are in normal clothes, in what clothing will we do our tawaf of Hajj? Normal clothes. You don't have to be in your ihram. You will do your tawaf in your normal clothes. Yeah, because the clothing will depend on whether you're still in ihram or whether you are out of ihram. If you've done your sacrifice and cutting of the hair, then you can be in your normal clothes. If you haven't, then you will be in your ihram. Okay? You will go and do your tawaf. You try and find a taxi or a coach, get to the haram for 8 o'clock, do your tawaf, do your sa'i, and get back to Mina. Because that night, you have to spend in Mina again. But that day, you also have to do the pelting. Okay, pelting has to be done as well. So those who go in that morning, they'll come back and go and do the pelting. Those who've already done their tawaf and sa'i, they will go to do the pelting. Now on the first day, you are allowed to do the pelting when? In the morning. But on the 11th of Zulhijjah, you are only allowed to do the pelting after Zuhr, after Zawal. You can't do it in the morning. The start time is after Zawal. Understood? On the 11th and the 12th. The start time is after Zawal. On the 10th, it's in the morning. You can go straight. Okay. Now, there's one point that I need to make for the sisters. Some of the sisters might be close to their menstruation. They've come for Hajj, 8th of Zulhijjah is fine, 9th of Zulhijjah is fine, but they think that maybe on the 10th, their menses might start, or on the 11th. What do we advise them? From Muzdalifah, go directly to Makkah. Or go and do your pelting and go directly to Makkah. Get your tawaf done. Because everything else, you can do the pelting in the afternoon. You can do it later in the evening, no problem. But you won't be able to do your tawaf if menses starts. So it's better to go from Muzdalifah all the way to Makkah and get your tawaf done, if you are worried that your menses might start. And husbands need to be aware of this as well. Once that is done, then your headache is done. Then after that, everything else can be done in its time except this tawaf. So that's why we say go and do it as soon as possible for the sisters. So now Sunday was the hardest day. Eid day for people here, hardest day for you. Sunday night you spent the 3rd day of Hajj, the 10th of Zulhijjah, morning of the 11th, you spent the night in Mina. After Zohar, you can go and pelt. This time you pelt, first one 7, second one 7, third one 7. After the first one, you face the Qibla and make dua. After the second one, you face the Qibla and make dua. After the third one, there is no dua, and then you come back to Mina camp. Next day, same again. After Zohar is the time. But this day, majority of the people will be finishing their Hajj, so you're going to take your bags with you. So usually, you're not allowed to take bags to the Jamarat. They'll stop you. So there might be a coach that might be going back to your hotel. You put your bags on the coach, and they will take them back. Or you make sure that you've brought very, very small bags, just a backpack, and therefore you'll be able to go to the Jamarat without anybody stopping you. Okay? And then, again, after Zohar, you will do pelting 7 times, 7 times, 7 times, dua after the first one, dua after the second one, no dua after the third one, and then your Hajj is complete. The 13th is optional for those people who want to stay in Mina and then do pelting again on the 13th. That is optional, it's not farz, it's not wajib, and therefore if somebody wants to do that, they can do that. Okay, but the Hajj is finished after you've done that pelting on the 12th, for those who are not staying on the 13th. Okay, now there are other things that I can mention, but we don't have much time. I'm looking at the time. I said 4:45. My legs are now giving up standing. So I'm going to sit down in a bit. I'll just go through the slides, so if I've missed anything, I can tell you. Yeah. Yeah. So once you've done the 12th of Zulhijjah pelting, then your Hajj is complete. The only thing left before you leave Makkah is Tawaf al-Wida, which is wajib. Tawaf al-Wida is farewell tawaf. And you do it in normal clothes, there's no ihram for this. And it's just like you do normal tawaf, which I mentioned already. You start off with takbir, and then with istilam, you go around 7 times, and then 2 rakats wajib, and that's tawaf al-Wida done. Now, according to your flights, that's how you will do your tawaf al-Wida. If your flight is very, very early after Hajj, go and do tawaf al-Wida very, very quickly. Okay? If your flight is a bit later, then you've got a little bit of leeway. If after performing tawaf al-Wida, you are going to go back in the haram, it's fine. If you're going to do another tawaf after that, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Yes, preferably tawaf al-Wida should be your last tawaf, but because of congestion, you might think, okay, I need to do it now so that I'm able to do it after Fajr because I'm leaving after Isha, and then you get to do another tawaf after Asr, no problem. It's fine. Okay? Tawaf-e-wida is wajib. Tawaf-e-ifada, the Hajj tawaf, is farz even for women. You can't leave Makkah without doing that. Tawaf-e-wida, if a woman is in menses, that is maaf. It's forgiven. You don't have to do that tawaf. Okay? And there's no penalty. But for Hajj tawaf, you can't leave Makkah without performing Hajj tawaf. There's no penalty as well. You just can't leave. You are bound by the chains of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you can't leave Makkah without performing Hajj tawaf. Full stop. Okay? So that's really, really important. One second. Yeah. I think I'm gonna stop there. I think we've covered as much as I can. I'll open for questions so that you can ask questions, inshallah, and then hopefully we can finish on time, inshallah. Yeah, so the question is, can you combine the main Hajj tawaf and tawaf-e-wida, the farewell tawaf? The answer to that is no. Tawaf-e-hajj is separate, is farad. Tawaf-e-wida is separate, it's wajib. Both have to be separate. Okay, you can't combine those. Good question. So if the 8th of Zulhijjah is on the Friday, where will we be performing Jummah? So there might be Jummah in your tents where you are based in Mina, and that's where they will be performing Jummah. It's not necessary to perform Jummah because you're travelers. You can pray Zohar as well, 2 rakats. But if there's Jummah in your camp, then you can pray Jummah with the Imam of the camp. Yeah, so we get this question a lot. So there are some scholars who say you can't do other Umrahs whilst you are there. But from the Hanafi perspective, the Hanafi school of thought, you can do Umrahs after the Hajj and you can do Umrahs in between as well. It's fine. Is the process for Tawaf-e-Ziyarah exactly the same as Tawaf for Umrah? Yes, it is. Exactly the same. All the Tawafs are going to be the same. Okay, so all the Tawafs are same, inshallah. You don't have to worry. Yeah. Yeah. So when you're making the intention for Hajj, you make the intention where you are. Now, if your hotel is clock towers or near the haram, and you want to put your ihram on in your hotel and then go to the haram and pray your 2 rakats salah there, nafal, and make your intention there, absolutely you can. So the question is, we can delay the tawaf of Hajj from the 10th to the 11th or 11th to the 12th. But the misunderstanding from your side is that because of Qurbani. I didn't say that, no. So it's not because of Qurbani. It's just a choice. You will delay your haircut because of Qurbani and the Hadi. You don't need to delay anything else. The haircut will be delayed, but the Hajj tawaf is a choice because of your tiredness, because of your own schedule. You're thinking that whether it's appropriate at this time or that time, that will be your decision-making factor. Is shaving your hair for men compulsory? No, it is not compulsory. To cut your hair at least a fingertip size, at least a quarter of your head is compulsory. But otherwise, if your hair is big and you only cut it a fingertip size, a quarter of your head, then you have fulfilled the obligatory. But it's better to shave, because the Prophet ﷺ gave dua to a person who shaves. He gave 3 times dua more than the one who cuts. So that's why it's better to shave. And especially when you're going for Hajj, you want to try and do everything as best as you can. So we would recommend and encourage everyone to shave. So if hair comes off. So obviously you are not allowed to pluck your hair during ihram. You're not allowed to pull your hair during ihram. But if you are doing masa of the hair and hair falls off, then that is not in your control and that's fine. However, we say that try and keep a tab on some of the hairs that might have fallen off, which you could have avoided, and then we will do the accounting at the end. But natural falling of the hair, you are not penalized for that.
Where can we cut the hair? Can we cut the hair at our accommodation?
So there's lots of barbers around. Even if you go back to your hotel and then you receive the message at the hotel, in and around the hotels, there's barbers shops around where you can get your hair cut. There's nothing, so if you're doing Hajj on behalf of somebody else, so Hajj Badal, is there anything different that you need to do? No, there's nothing different that you need to do except the intention that I'm doing Hajj on behalf of this person. So according to the four schools of thought, there's preference as to which Hajj is more rewarded, but it's a preference. Otherwise, you've got to look at your timetable. So according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi, Qiran is more preferable. According to other schools of thought, Tamattu is more preferable. According to others, Ifrad is more preferable. So there's a difference of opinion on this. However, especially Qiran is quite hard because you will be in Ihram for much longer. So you've got to look at how many days you're going to be in between your Umrah and Hajj, and then decide whether you can do Qiran or not. But obviously there's more reward for Qiran because it's harder and you're doing Umrah and Hajj together. So in terms of wearing a face mask during Ihram, you're not allowed to cover your face during Ihram. So it is not recommended to wear a face mask. However, if somebody feels that they need to wear a face mask because of too much dust or whatever, and they wear a face mask for a couple of hours, it will not break their ihram. They will have to give a small penalty. It's not a big penalty. If you wear for less than half a day, if you wear for less than a whole day, it's not a big penalty, it's a small penalty. So depending on your situation, you might be asthmatic or whatever, then you can wear a face mask and give a small penalty. There's no harm in that. And according to other scholars, they say you are allowed because of the congestion that's around the haram at the moment and the dust that's around, but better to pay a little bit of penalty if you do so. The tawaf can be done. So the tawaf of Hajj is not dependent on anything. You don't have to wait for your qurbani. You don't have to wait for your haircut. You don't have to wait for anything. And that's why I said that the sisters can go directly. You don't even have to wait for your pelting. You could go directly to Makkah and go and do your tawaf of Hajj and then do pelting later. So the tawaf of Hajj is not dependent on anything except the timing. And the timing starts from Fajr on the 10th of Zulhijjah till Maghrib on the 12th of Zulhijjah, not dependent on anything else. Yeah, so tawaf, remember, one tawaf equals 7 rounds. There's no sa'i for tawaf-e-wida. There's only tawaf-e-wida, no sa'i. Can women wear shoes during tawaf and sa'i? It depends on where you are. So on the top floor, some people do wear shoes. On the middle floor, on the ground floor, because of the sanctity of the masjid, usually people don't wear shoes. So if when we are in the Mina camps and we are in Ihram, you can cover your feet with the blanket and with the sleeping bag or whatever you have, duvet or whatever. But in terms of socks, you can't wear socks. In terms of masks or even the eye coverings, you shouldn't be wearing them. No. Okay, so this is a more technical question, and for some of you it might not be relevant, for some of you it might be relevant. So a person who is in one place less than 15 days is considered a traveler. And when you are in one place less than 15 days, your salah will be shortened for Zohar 2 rakats, Asr 2 rakats, Isha 2 rakats. Now, if you are getting to Makkah for the 1st of Zulhijjah, for example, you will be leaving for Mina on the 8th of Zulhijjah. Some ulama class Mina as part of Makkah. Some ulama say, no, it's not part of Makkah. Those ulama who say it's part of Makkah, they will then say that you are still staying in Mecca on the 7th, on the 8th, on the 9th, but then you're going to Muzdalifah as well on the 9th night. Okay? And then Mina again. So it depends on the difference of opinion. For majority of the people, you will still not be Musafir if you follow the opinion that Mina is not in Mecca. And for some people, they will say, no, Mina is in Mecca, and therefore you will have to count those as 15 days, part of the 15 days, and then see whether you're Musafir or not. Okay, so it's a bit technical. There is a difference of opinion, and there's no majority in this difference of opinion. So I can't say which way you want to go. I usually take the Musafir route. So if you've washed your hands 5 times separately during the day, so for 5 different salah with soap, then those will be counted as 5 different penalties. If you've done it at one time, washed it twice, so 3 times, with one time, then that will be counted as 1. Okay? Also, in regards to penalties, inshallah, we'll mention that more during the Hajj, but it depends on what kind of thing you've done, what violation you've done, and that will then give you the penalty. The biggest penalty is any intimacy. The biggest penalty is not performing the Hajj tawaf. Well, you can't, it's just and missing a wajib. All of these will be the biggest penalties. But the washing of hands or covering your face or wearing clothes that you're not supposed to, they'll have smaller penalties, but they can add up. Okay, if you do things not in the right order, you will have to give one sacrifice. One sacrifice can cost you around about £150, £200 during the Hajj time. So one penalty, if you're not careful, can cost you around £200 if you're not careful. No, tahajjud, all the nafal prayers and the sunnah prayers will be full. So even if you decide, now, normally in the kitabs it mentions that if you are musafir, you shorten the farz prayers and you don't have to read your sunnah. But because we are in a blessed place and we have time, we will read our full sunnah. 4 sunnah, tahajjud full, all of those will be full. Only the farz prayer will be shortened. Can you use eczema cream? So you can use eczema cream as long as the scent is not perfumed. If it's a natural scent, it's fine. And usually these creams have natural scent, which is okay. But if it's a perfume scent, then you can't. No, you won't. Yeah. So in terms of those bigger penalties, there'll only be 1 qurbani. Okay, that will cover all of it. Don't worry about that. But in terms of smaller penalties, it will be £5, £10, £5, £10. It won't even be £5, it'll be £2, £3, £2, £3. Yeah. Hajj tawaf has a sa'i. Umrah has tawaf and sa'i. Hajj also has tawaf and sa'i. Sa'i will always be after tawaf. After tawaf. If the perfume has been applied before the intention of ihram, the smell and the odor that is still left afterwards is fine. No DP not allowed because of the smell. It's very, very strong smell.